What's going on, guys? It's Simp here, and today I'm just going to give you a little bit of a recap video from our first two matches of Stage 1, our matches versus Paris and LAT. I'm just going to run through, kind of break down the matches a little bit, give my thoughts on them, and yeah, just give my thoughts going into our next match versus Boston, so let's get into it. Alright, so for our first match against Paris, we were pretty confident going into it, but at the same time, we were also, I think we all kind of knew we still were a little bit iffy from the opening weekend. Not saying that we were really stressing about the kickoff weekend, but we were more so kind of just not letting it, define where our team is in the standings, I guess you could say. So, we knew we were a little bit iffy, but I think we put in a lot of good practice in between the kickoff and the start of Stage 1. So I think it really showed in our match kind of what we improved on. And it just showed a little bit of improvement, and I think that was really important for us to, make sure we start off 1-0 and keep it pushing. So, first map was Gavutu Hardpoint. Now, this is a map kind of like how Apocalypse was for us last year, where it kind of just, we keep losing it in matches, but we keep frying on it in scrims. And, I don't know, I mean, I feel like we're pretty good at the map, but at the same time, obviously we might not be because we're losing in matches, so, yeah, I mean, we were really confident going to this game 1 against Paris just because we thought we were really good at the map, which I think we are, but, it obviously didn't end up going that way because we lost that map 252-18. And honestly, I've had a pretty rough start personally to the Vanguard season. I don't know what it is in matches, but in scrims, I feel like I fry. And in matches, I think my pacing is just off, so I need to start being a little bit more confident in matches. I need to start speeding it up, and I feel like I'll be back in form. But I mean, I feel like if it's too hard point, we were just playing a catch-up game. I mean, if I recall, I'm pretty sure we lost a break, and we got literally slammed on P1. And if you go down 040 or like 050 off the rip, it's already a hole to dig yourself back into. And I think a lot of people were kind of expecting Paris, or think Paris is a bad team. But honestly, I feel like they're not that bad this year. I feel like there's no really bad teams this year for the most part. And that I really feel like there's not, at this point in time, there's not many teams you can count out, in my opinion. So, game 2 for the Search and Destroy, we had Desert Siege. And, this is a map we're pretty good at. I think overall our S&D has gotten a lot better ever since the kickoff. I think we were kind of, we weren't really working well with each other at kickoff, in my opinion. I think we were playing like an individual game, and, a lot of these teams are playing really well together, so if we want to win, we definitely want to kind of keep that same, I don't know what the word is, like kind of just keep the same thing going, like make sure we're all rotating together, make sure we're all baiting and switching, make sure we're team shotting, and just making sure we're ahead of the game. But in Surge, I feel like we did a really good job of kind of making sure we used our numbers, or just, didn't really give free picks away, I guess. There are situations where it could look sketch for us, but I feel like a lot of the time we know exactly what we're doing with each other, and I feel like it really showed our first real, or not real S&D, but our first S&D back. Just because we won at 6-3, and it was a pretty, not dominant, but like not a hard win, if that makes sense. So yeah, we ended up winning the Desert Siege 6-3, and we brought back the series to 1-1, going into a Gavitu control. Now for Gavitu control, this is, well, in general, I feel like we've had a pretty slow start to control in this game. And I just feel like control's being played differently than it has been played in the last two game mode or games it was in. And I'm not gonna say how, I'm not gonna say why. It's just very different, in my opinion. And I'm not even exactly sure why. It just feels different. Maybe it's the maps. Maybe it's being on a non-Treyarch game. But control just feels very just MWE, like just floody. Keep getting kills. I feel like it's, right now it's not point based, but in the future it could definitely go back to stacking like how it kind of was in Cold War. So honestly, we didn't really stand a chance this map. We got 1-3 slammed. Me and Tyler got spawn trapped for about 20 minutes on one of our defenses. and we completely threw that round. And as soon as you lose defense, you know, the vibes are not high, just because of how defense heavy control really is right now, in my opinion. So we lost that 1-3, down 1-2 going into a Tuscan hardpoint. You know, backs against the wall, and I think this is where our practice really started to shine through. Also, guys, I just want to say, you know, obviously I don't have the same setup I do back home. I don't even know if the camera's blurry right now. I don't even know how it looks, to be honest. I feel like I definitely got to try and figure out a better way to record videos while I'm here in Atlanta, because I don't really have a setup at my place here, so I kind of just use the facility, and I just got to figure it out. But, you know, real quick, if you guys are watching this video up to this point, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. You guys are the homies for watching my videos, and I appreciate it, so thank you, goats. Tuscan Game 4. I feel like this map, we were really ahead of the rotation the entire time. I think we still... I don't know if we did get slammed, but we might have got smoked on the P1 again. But it was definitely a different story this map, because we were staying ahead of the game most of the time. And, you know, out-rotating Paris and kind of just making sure we were worrying about the next hill and just staying ahead. I mean, I feel like that was the entire game for the most part. It was back and forth for a little bit, but we ended up winning 250 to 174. I don't really remember if there was any crazy plays. The one thing I will say about Tuscan, though, is that P3 definitely needs some kind of spawn change, because, I mean, people are spawning all over the hill on P3, the Backwell hill, and I don't really know how to fix it. But I just don't think it's right for people to be blocking both sides and then to spawn Godheady instead of like Church or something. So in my opinion, that needs to change, and this hill will get a lot better. But yeah, we ended up winning the 250-174 Tuscan, and we went into a Berlin Game 5. So going into this Berlin Game 5, we were super confident in our S&D, and I feel like we don't really have a bad search map right now. So going into another search, we were just super confident that we were going to win this Game 5, and, I mean, honestly, it wasn't really a close Game 5 at all. The only round they won was a round I kind of threw away. So yeah, we ended up winning 6-1, and the only round that I ended up throwing away was a 1v2 by John, and honestly, the only reason he clutched it is because I just didn't want to get world starred. Like, he's their sniper, I'm pretty sure, so he killed MC with a pistol. And I hit him like once or twice when MC called him out like weak or one shot, and I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And I ran away because he had like 10 or 15 seconds to plant the bomb, and I ended up getting bad timing and losing the round. But I just didn't want to get quick scope by a sniper and get world star, to be honest. That was kind of my reasoning. But yeah, that was the only round we lost, and we ended up winning 6-1. Pretty dominant win and a pretty good start to the league, 1-0. So we win that Game 5, and now we have another match against LAT. So going into this LAT series, I think we were all pretty confident, but I think we all knew if we won this match, we would be in a pretty good spot to say we're still, you know, if we did have, you know, if we were iffy about our gameplay, I think this was a match that if we won confidently, we were going to be confident in ourselves. And I'm not saying we weren't confident in ourselves already, but more so, you know, after kickoff, I think it was a good place to see where we were in this LA Thieves match. So, going into map 1, it was a Tuscan hardpoint, and this is probably one of the closest maps in Vanguard so far, in my opinion. I think there might have been a 249-250, or maybe that was just in scrims, but this map ended up going down to the wire, 250 to 248, and it really, I can't really name anything that went too wrong, at least off the top of my head. Like, if I were to say, they probably were using a little bit more teamwork, or we were kind of just trading out hills back and forth, because in a match where it goes 250 to 248, there isn't really, I mean, right now I can't think of anything that we did insanely wrong, but we can always improve. But, you know, 250 to 248 is just one of those super close, nitty-gritty matches where, you know, one kill can change the outcome, one hesitation, you wait 3 seconds to push something out, that could change the map itself too. You know, leaving some scrap time even. Could, you know, maybe we left some scrap time and we lost that map because of it. There's just so many variables that could be a reason why we lost that map, but Either way, 248, 250, you can't be too upset about that because, super close match. So we start the series down 0-1, and we go into another Desert Siege Game 2. So going into this Desert Siege Game 2, we were extremely confident in our Search and Destroy, especially after how our first match went, because we won both searches in a pretty, easy fashion, I'd say. LAT is a team that also likes Desert Siege a lot, just because of, at least in my opinion, I'm obviously not their team, I don't know what they're thinking, but Octane is probably one of the better snipers in the league right now, or at least the most useful one, where, he's getting picks and stuff like that. There's a lot of people sniping, but I feel like he's kind of getting the most done with it. Kind of like how I was in BO4, there's a lot of good snipers in BO4, but I feel like I was just the most useful in getting picks and kind of just making the most with the sniper. But yeah, I think that's why they like Desert Siege a lot. He gets a lot of picks on that map, and I mean, he probably got 5 or 6 picks on us when we played him too. But we ended up winning this map 6-4. And I think this was well played by both teams. I think the real difference maker was kind of just us just getting more blood advantages. I think we were really patient some of our rounds, and I don't think they were ready for that from us, and I think it just ended up with us getting a free kill or two, when in reality, if we sped up, they'd probably get the kill or two. So we ended up winning that 6-4. Another close map in the series. First map was 248 to 250. We lost that, and now we win second map 6-4. So going into a Tuscan control, it's 1-1. Now going into this control, at least in my opinion, in my head, if whoever wins this control wins the series, just because we are 0-2 in control going into this, but we also played Gavutu control twice. So we didn't really know what to or at least I didn't know what to expect. I can't really speak for everyone. I didn't really know what to expect going to this game 3, but in my head, if we won this map, or whoever won this map was going to win the series. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, this wasn't really a close control either. I think it came down to, I think it was a close round, like one of them. But overall, I mean, I feel like we were pretty dominant in the way we won the rounds. And honestly, we won an offense, or we won our first defense, and then we won an offense. And as soon as you win an offense, like I said for the Paris match, we lost the defense and our vibes were not high. So we won an offense and our vibes were extremely high. If you go look in the match, I think that's the only time we were laughing, we were smiling, and it was all 4 of us. It was the funniest moment if you heard our comms. But we won the offense, and we kind of just played an easy defense round 3. I feel like once you lose the defense, it's kind of chalked. So we ended up winning Tuscan Control 3-0, and that's a huge morale booster going into our Bocage hardpoint, because winning that control, like I said, I thought whoever was gonna win that control wins the series, and that was I think that was our first ever Control 3-0, like one of the few we've ever had, even in scrims. So we were definitely super excited to win that map the way we did and go into a Bocage hardpoint especially. So going into this Bocage hardpoint, we really were just telling each other to just make sure we were staying confident, make sure we were rotating, and just make sure we were working with each other. Because I feel like that's always the motto, If you're working with each other, or at least with us, if we're working with each other, we're always going to come out on top, I really feel like there's so much skill in the league, it's just going to come down to chemistry at a point. Because I don't feel like there's really anyone in the league who's, like, awful. But, there are teams who have, like, bad chemistry. But, that chemistry can always be fixed, so I just feel like teams with really good chemistry are always going to come out on top. And you look at a team like Toronto last year. There were a lot of teams that were like close with them in my opinion, but I feel like their chemistry is like the real reason they were the main competition for us last year, because last year our chemistry was really good and their team's chemistry was probably the second best. So it just makes sense that chemistry is kind of what pushes these teams forward. But going to this Bocage, I think we were super confident because, it's Bocage and we're Atlanta FaZe. And, if you think of us, you think of just some little midget dudes running around just shooting everything. Or at least that's probably what you think. So, we went into this map super confident. I mean, super confident because of the control. and our comms were flowing that map. I mean, we were all spitting. MC was coming off spawn. He was saying, Chris, rotate. Alec was coming off spawn. He was saying, Tyler, rotate. I was coming off spawn. I was saying, MC, stay downhill. And I mean, overall, it was kind of just a smoking. And I think, I don't know how many bokays we played in matches. I think 2. But both the bokays we played, we've done pretty well. And it's weird because I feel like most people think of Bocage as a map that it's always like coming down to wire or coming down to time. But I feel like with us, Bocage is like, it's a map where like one team dominates or like the other team does. Like I feel like our Bocages are never close. So I don't know. I mean, we ended up kind of slamming them in this game 4. We beat him 250 to 136. And I mean, honestly, just my guy MC, man. My guy MC's a demon on this game. He's probably the best player in the game right now, if I were to assume. And yeah, hopefully that guy keeps carrying me this year. But we ended up winning that series 3-1. So far, our most dominant win of the season because our only other match was 3-2. And I think, like I said before, I think it's a really good spot that we won the match the way we did because I think it puts us in a pretty good spot mentally, like knowing where our team lies and just for the future because, you know, obviously we all think there's always room for improvement, but you know, in reality, it just depends. It's up to you. It's up to your team at the end of the day. So I think with this win, it's going to be a really good morale booster for us going forward. And I think our practice is going to be really... we're going to have some really good practice leading up to our Boston match. So yeah, I'm super excited for the Boston match too. Going to the Boston match, I'm pretty confident just because of the way we handled our LAT match. And honestly, I feel like if we're on top of our game, we'll probably end up with a 3-1 or 3-0 dubski. I think our Search and Destroy is really strong right now. I think our hard points are up to us, basically, if we want to win them. Just because I feel like if we play the way we practice, then we'll beat everybody. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like. If you're new here, make sure you sub to the channel. And in the comments below, make sure you leave what match has been your favorite so far of the 2022 season. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.